the way glutathione and an enzyme called superoxide dismutase work, they're our body's kind of like super defense against toxins and free radicals. So they're the things that basically are responsible for protecting our cells and especially our neural cells from toxins and from the nastiest of free radicals called a hydroxylate ion. And superoxide dismutase and glutathione, the chemical reaction that produces and makes those things, every step is very pH dependent. So if you're acidic, it will limit your body's ability to utilize antioxidants to produce its own antioxidants too. So pH is just kind of one of those base level things that if it's working well, it can lift all the boats, and if it's not working well, it can kind of sink a lot of the boats, and that's kind of a big deal. So this is what really got me excited about Yoli when I first saw it, the science on the pH. And this company and this product has 27 registered structure and function claims with the FDA, which is unheard of for supplements. I mean, usually the FDA doesn't even look at supplements. And they have a patent on their process. So it's not just the ingredients, because the ingredients in and of themselves are kind of special, but you can find other things with the same ingredients. But what their patent is on and what their registration with the FDA as a new dietary ingredient on is the structure of the ingredients together. So it has a calcium carbonate shell, and within it has those the other things. So the main thing are the potassium and magnesium hydroxides. Those are super basic, super flash absorbed. So again, that calcium carbonate shell protects those things from the stomach acid, so it can time release and absorb into the intestine. Because otherwise, if you just did like baking soda or something, it would just cause a major reaction in your stomach, bring your stomach pH up, which you don't want, and then all of it would be neutralized, so your body won't utilize any of it anyway. So that's, occasionally people will ask, they'll read like, hey, this is the same, some of this is in baking soda or something. And it's the structure is what really makes this special, and that's what's been through the FDA process. And as such, it has to go through generally recognized as safe overdose testing, has to do what it says it does, make sure that those structure and function claims are actually true. So that's a pretty big deal with this that most supplements don't have. So that's kind of cool. So that was a lot. Just first thing in the morning, you do these. Then you go take your shower, go for a walk, whatever you do, watch Fox News, think the world's ending, whatever people do. And then a half an hour later, you do your shake. So you can choose whatever you want. And this is, again, it's a high quality, non-denatured whey protein sourced out of New Zealand. So it's grass-fed, antibiotic-free, hormone-free. It's the highest quality, most expensive whey protein you can buy. And that's great because whey protein in and of itself is a superfood. I mean, we could go through a laundry list, and I got actually that done. So I have all the benefits and all the reference literature for you on whey. Again, you're not going to probably spit that out to a patient, but just so you can see it. So it does a whole bunch of stuff. It donates cysteine to upregulate glutathione. It helps regulate blood sugar. It helps satiates people. It's a donor of essential amino acids. It has immunoglobulins in the concentrate version, which this is. It helps with immune system function. It's just a very high level available protein that has the full complement of amino acids. So that's cool. So that's great in and of itself just as a protein, but this also has that lean immune blend, which has the pomegranate, olive leaf extract, African mango, grapeseed, acai, fruit, alfalfa, makai. Makai is like a cruciferous vegetable. You probably know that. Sorry, I get so used to saying the same stuff all the time. Spinach, horseradish tree, moringa, winged treebine, and broccoli. And that's there for multiple reasons. One is it's a very high ORAC value antioxidant vegetable base, which is important. It's also a very strong modbiotic. So when we talk about all of those things act as modbiotics, meaning that when they get in the gut, they're going to promote healthy bacteria and be anti-negative bacteria and yeast. They also are all cellular NRF2 stimulators. So NRF2 or NRF2 is a cellular genetic pathway that humans have, and it's designed to be stimulated by like the polyphenols in the skin of fruits and things like that. And that stimulates actually a cellular protective mechanism which downregulates the inflammation enzymes in our body, upregulates the detoxification enzymes like superoxide dismutase and glutathione, and does a whole bunch of other things. So NRF2 is basically how our body slows and stops inflammation and cellular aging, and all of those are NRF2 stimulators too. So that's pretty cool in here. Plus, it has the Ganadin BC30 probiotic, which Yoli actually didn't make. They contracted that out through Ganadin, which is a separate company. And it's a spore probiotic, which I think we already talked about that a little bit. But the big thing with probiotics now, because they were so it started off with probiotics are good, we all need them, and so everybody was doing broad spectrum. And then the science went into, okay, there's individual probiotics, so let's focus on the ones that are supposed to be in the nose, ones that are supposed to be in our gut, in our ear, in our vagina, or whatever. And then they would try to prescribe the specific bacteria for those areas where you're having trouble, which there's good science on that. But then so microbiome research is like going so fast because it's so big now. It's like we're on the tip of space exploration and we're finding stuff out new all the time. So they went through that, and now what they're finding is when it comes to probiotic supplementation, if you don't have the environment internally to support that, a lot of those bacteria you put in your body are going to die off, and when they die, they become partial bacteria strains. They become what's called a lipopolysaccharide, and that's actually very inflammatory to our body, especially our gut lining. So the very reason people take probiotics could be actually hurting what they're trying to affect. So a lot of people will take a bunch of crappy dead probiotics that will make them poop, and they think that it's doing what it's supposed to do, but in reality it's just inflaming their gut lining and causing that bowel movement to go faster. So in today's world, it's about surviving stomach acid so you don't get a bunch of dead bugs coming into your lower GI, and that's what that spore is for. It protects them. And secondly, they have published literature that shows that their Ganadin BC30 actually enhances the spectrum of colonizing bacteria within the colon when you take it. So the things people always ask, what's the count? First of all, they always ask, and I've learned in my education, if it doesn't come in a fridge and you don't store it in a fridge, it's crap because it's all dead. And I believe that to be true, but in this unique case, and there's a few other companies out here that do it, that spore allows it to stay viable at room temperature, at freezing temperature, and through the stomach acid way more than just on its own, so you don't need to refrigerate it and it still stays viable. The fact that it survives stomach acid at a much higher rate is huge, because then you don't have as many of those lipopolysaccharide dead bacteria coming in. And then once it gets to your intestines where you want it to be, it actually thrives and it sets up the environment for other things to grow. So the probiotic itself actually even acts like a modbiotic, which is, it's like amazing stuff. It's so cool. And Yoli, I don't think they knew any of that when they went through Ganadin, but it ends up being that way, and that's really cool. So that's just the probiotic side. It also has prebiotic fibers, so that's really important again for setting up that environment. It's like fertilizing the grass seed you throw in the ground. That's just in this. I'm sorry, I was getting off on a tangent. So that's all in the shake. You got super high quality whey. You got the Lean Immune, which is a modbiotic, NRF2, and vegetable servings all in one, and you have the probiotic. So when people ask, why can't I just go to GNC and get the 50-gallon barrel of protein? And it's because A, that's not sourced from organic grass-fed cows. B, it's heat processed, so it destroys most of that protein, so you can't absorb much of it anyway, and then your liver and kidneys are going to have to filter that, so it ends up being a net negative. It doesn't have the Lean Immune, it doesn't have the probiotic, and most of the time it's sweetened with a bunch of crap, either aspartame or sugar. And so that's a big question people get, like, why is this a little more expensive than the one I can get at Walmart? And there's a lot of reasons why. And so that's a big thing. Because everybody thinks they know a protein, especially the big meathead gym guys, they think their super ultra nitrous oxide booster or whatever they take, is better, and in reality, this is better. And so you do that half an hour after you wake up, and then after that you eat breakfast. You can eat, I always say, any kind of meat, any kind of cheese, any kind of eggs, any kind of nuts, and green vegetables at any of those times. You can have an omelet, you can have, whatever you want in that realm. And so people should try to eat what they normally would eat. Hopefully not Cocoa Puffs, they'll have to give that up, but they can find stuff that fits and that they like. And then you eat lunch. Normally, same thing. On an orange day, it's any kind of meat, any kind of cheese, any kind of eggs, any kind of nuts, green vegetables, and it gives all the examples of stuff. On a blue day, at lunchtime, you get to throw in fruit and a colored vegetable in there, so you can go a little crazy. And in the mid-afternoon, you do passion again. So I throw in my stupid joke about passion in the afternoon, too. I wish it was like that, but it's not. And then again, we already went through the B vitamins, and at night you can do the shake again. Now, here's a pretty important thing that we have seen doesn't affect results very much at all, is if somebody wants to do the shake as their mid-afternoon snack and then have real food at night, like at a family meal or something, that's totally cool. But what we tell people, if you're eating after 5 o'clock at night, whether it's an orange day or a blue day, we want to keep it to the orange day foods only. So any kind of meat, any kind of cheese, any kind of eggs, any kind of nuts, and green vegetables. So we don't want to do fruit or colored vegetables, higher glycemic vegetables at night anytime. And the reason is it spikes that blood sugar. You're not going to have the activity to bring it back down. It's going to disrupt the subtle ketosis that we get people into. And then if you're hungry outside of the plan, you can eat. Just make sure it's a protein. And what I like to get on Amazon is like the grass-fed beef sticks. Those are what I go to. I really like those. Or you can do celery or any of the free foods if you want to. But I usually use Nick Sticks or they're an Iowa company, but you can get those. So if people are struggling to know what to eat, that's like an easy go-to. But